What's up, you guys? Happy New Year. So says the leader talking. I'm back with another excerpt reading from my Princess Luan and Wizard Hazaria series. I decided to read from this book, Race for the Rainbow. I'm especially proud of this book because it was the first book I had published through CreateSpace. I hope you enjoy. Let's read. I apologize. I'm having trouble finding an excerpt to read. Here we go. This is basically the scene that happened after Return of the Beast. If you want to know about Return of the Beast, you can go onto my author page. The link will be in the description below. You can check it out there. Let's read. The white blonde woman entered the throne room in the Temple of Deloria, awaiting her mistress to acknowledge her. After a moment of silence, the large stone throne slowly spun around on a turntable, revealing the demon who sat in the seat. This being was sickly pink-skinned, with half white hair and half purple hair. An additional sideways eye graced its forehead, and its left arm was maroon with sharp nails at the end of its fingertips. It wore a black two-piece costume comprised of a tank top and pants. This demon was Yubel, the Empress of all evil. Not too long ago, she had been released after Karen the Shadow had been freed of the control of her magic jewel, the Onyx of Darkness, and had been regaining her strength from the last few fallen henchmen she had sent to take on Earth's Fellowship of Light, now known as the Council of Five Quintessa Force. But since Valtor, her number one ally in evil, had been purified by Haveria Winchester, the Wizard of Deloria of Water, Yubel had blamed not herself for his defeat, but her trio of evil, except she had never expressed her disappointment. Mistress, the white blonde woman whose name was Icy prompted. You called? Yes, Icy, Yubel confirmed, her voice childish and female. Then she rose from her throne and turned her back to her servant. Is something wrong, milady? Icy pressed, but Yubel turned her no answer. What's wrong? The white blonde persisted. You can trust me. I used to think that, Yubel responded with murderous calm, and as she spoke her next words, her voice rose to an ominous shout. Until I discovered that you were an ice-cold traitor! Traitor! Icy cried incredulously. What do you mean? I would never! But then Yubel literally flew off the throne turntable and, in one swift motion, seized Icy's throat and picked the girl up off the floor. Icy began to choke and cough from lack of air. You convinced your sisters that Valtor didn't need your help, Yubel told her servant. Now you must pay the price for your disloyalty. It was only so I could rid you of the memory of his first failures, milady, Icy cried. Your disobedience has cost me dearly, daughter, Yubel protested. Prepare to join Queen Ruin in oblivion! Her grip around Icy's neck was so incredibly strong that Icy began to lose consciousness. With what strength remained, she managed to plead, Please, milady, I promise that I shall never betray your trust again! On this note, Yubel released her grip on Icy's neck, and the white blonde collapsed to the stone floor, taking deep breaths and attempting to steady her heartbeat. But then, when she looked up, she saw Yubel's third eye glowing eerily. This is it, the Icy realized, cringing in fear. This is the end! She closed her eyes and braced herself for the worst. However, to Icy's surprise, She no longer felt the warmth of Ubel's third eye on her skin. Instead, Ubel told her, "I know you won't." Icy sighed in relief, but Ubel wasn't finished as she went on, "I know you won't, because from now on you'll be sitting on the sidelines for a while." "What?" Icy cried. "I can't very well trust all three of you to carry on one assignment," Ubel told her. "So from now on the three of you will be working one at a time." But Ubel, Icy began to protest. "Quiet!" Ubel spat at her. "I'm not done." Then she flew back to her throne and sat down. "At this point, I have discovered a new power source. One that, when in my possession, will increase my dark powers exponentially." "Excellent, milady," Icy praised her. "I'll get my sisters an Ubel warned. "Nice try, but Darcy is the one I have chosen to complete this mission. You and Stormy would only be in the way." "Darcy!" Icy cried. "But she's so... Her voice trailed off when she noticed Ubel's penetrating glare. "You have to understand, Icy. I cannot fail again," Ubel explained patiently. "As long as the three of you are together, there will always be rebellion. By splitting you up this way, I don't have to worry about a coup to destroy me." Ubel! Icy cried again. "I have chosen Darcy!" Ubel declared again, more firmly. "Now send her in here immediately and go join Stormy downstairs in the dungeon!" Icy sighed reluctantly and replied, "As you wish, my mistress." Then she left the room as Ubel turned and sat back down on her throne. Of course, Ubel thought as she watched Icy retreat into the dark corridor leading out, before what I've planned is over and done, the three of you will be tested in the ultimate act of loyalty. So as you can see, this starts the quest for gaining. This starts the quest of the race for the rainbow. It basically, Ubel has discovered a power that will make her infinitely stronger than she already is now. Let's continue. Okay, this scene takes place in this scene takes place in Deloria, in a pocket dimension where Galatea, the newest wizard of Deloria of Quintessence, meets a woman named Rosetta. Let's read. Galatea's mind swam through murky waters of semi-consciousness as she struggled to reach the surface and fill her lungs with air. At first, all she saw was a bright white light, and she instantly shut her eyes again. But then she heard an unfamiliar woman's voice. It sounded equipped with a southern twang as it said, "Come on, sugar, wake up and smell the roses." Galatea finally broke the surface of the waters of semi-consciousness, and her eyes slowly came back into focus. And then she saw a young redhead of a woman with blue eyes and full red lips peering down at her. This woman wore a strapless dress of graduating colors of red and pink, complete with a short skirt. Short pink stockings and red flats finished off her ensemble. As Galatea began to get her bearings, she found herself lying on a soft bed of straw and feathers. "What? Who?" she murmured. "Where am I?" "In the Rainbow Shrine Temple," the redhead told her with a laugh in her southern twang. "You got lucky, sugar. I almost couldn't remember the incantation that could pull you behind the invisible shield guarding this place." "I'm in the Rainbow Shrine Temple?" Galatea repeated. Then she rose from the bed, but too quickly, because she felt a wave of dizziness wash over her and had to sit and lie back down. "You're still kind of disoriented," the redhead said. You should lie down until you get your strength back." "Yeah, it's probably a good idea." Galatea murmured, and rolled on her side in the bed in a position to eye the redhead. Please, I need to say someone named Iris. It's urgent. Iris, the redhead repeated in a faraway small voice. She let out a dejected sigh and averted her gaze for a moment before responding. I'm sorry, but she's left. Left? Galatea repeated. Left us in back in an hour, or left us in... She stopped abruptly when she noticed the redhead lowering her gaze. Oh, Galatea realized that she knew what the redhead meant. Iris was no more. Well then, who are you? Galatea went on. I'm glad you asked, the redhead responded. I'm Lady Rosetta, the new guardian of the shrine. Iris said if anything ever happened to her, I was to protect this place with all my heart and soul. Rosetta shut her eyes as a tear escaped her eye and a sob escaped her throat. Feeling stronger, Galatea rose from the bed again, slowly, and wrapped around her arms around Rosetta, hugging her and comforting her. I am sorry, Galatea said as she slightly pulled herself away from Rosetta. Iris will be missed. She already is, Rosetta told her softly. Then Galatea looked at her new surroundings. At the far end of the room was a multicolored marble altar decorated with a carved rainbow on a pedestal. The walls were painted with the 7 colors of the rainbow, and the windows were colorful stained glass decorations of all shapes, sizes, and designs. On the far wall was a mosaic of a coffee-colored woman sporting a bun of braids and is wearing a sun-yellow dress with a long skirt. Galatea took one look at the artwork and realized, that must be Iris. It is, Rosetta confirmed. She was the greatest war guardian of all. No one could defend this place like she could. Galatea took Rosetta's hands in her own. You don't need to try to be like trying to be Iris. Just be the best you can be. Rosetta lowered her gaze for a brief moment before gazing back up at Galatea. Then she nodded her understanding. Now, tell me what's going on, Rosetta said as she and Galatea sat back down on the bed. Who are you, and why are you battling outside the temple portal with that fashion disaster? Galatea took a deep breath and explained. My name is Princess Galatea. That other woman, Darcy, was sent to stop me from finding the Rainbow Shrine Temple. She's one of an evil trio of sister witches. They all serve a 3-eyed vampire demon who calls herself Yubel! Rosetta exclaimed. Huh? Galatea exclaimed back. You've heard of her? Rosetta nodded solemnly. I've done more than heard of her, sugar. I've followed her, she told Galatea. You did? Galatea repeated. Where? Long ago, Rosetta replied evasively. Do you know what Miss Darcy Gal is after? Galatea lowered her gaze before responding. It wasn't a what. It was a who. She was after Iris. Yubel thinks Iris would have been able to help her locate the treasures that house the spirits of the rainbow. If she gets her hands on all 7, including my ruby crystal key, our universe will be doomed. I see, Rosetta murmured, partly to herself. She cupped her chin with her hand in thought and realized, sounds like this Darcy character knows about the First Fellowship of Light. The First Fellowship of Light? Galatea repeated to herself. There were others before those I know about? Could you tell me about this legend? She asked Rosetta aloud. Absolutely, Rosetta responded with a smile. Then she took a deep breath and began. Eons ago, when the universe was young, the element of quintessence carved all life out of a single void. 2 opposing forces resulted from the creation, light and darkness. And from those opposing forces, 4 more elements were born: earth, air, fire, and water. However, the guardian of darkness, named Night Shroud, believed that only his element should have been able to rule over all creatures. In order to combat his beliefs, the guardian of light, named Iris, chose 7 exceptional beings. Lolita, Murda, Elizabeth, Clara, Isabel, Ashley, and of course, me. You were part of the first fellowship? Galatea repeated. Rosetta nodded. Not a fond memory for me. Anyway, back to the story. In order to protect the universe and keep darkness from overtaking light, Iris exposed her 7 chosen ones to the radiance of the rainbow spectrum. It changed all of them forever, but they had all gained different abilities. Lolita's body became intensely and electrically charged, and she was able to shoot electric beams at her enemies, as well as control all kinds of light. Ashley's power was the ability to create and control ice and snow. She was one of the warriors of winter. As for me, I gained the ability to control plants and the very soil from which they grew. Clara gained the power to create and control fire and molten lava with a simple thought. Isabel's special power was the exact opposite of Clara's. She could control any kind of fluid or liquid, as well as communicate with all different kinds of sea life. Elizabeth's power was the most significant. She didn't gain elemental abilities, but her mental prowess was enhanced and made up for it. She could solve the most complex problems by calculating them in her head, and as she grew, so did her intellect, but her brain powers completely surpassed her age. The last two sound almost like my cousin, Hilaria Winchester, Galatea said suddenly. She has the combined abilities of Isabel and Elizabeth. Can I finish my story, please? Rosetta demanded hotly and with a pointed glare. Right, the Galatea muttered, shutting up now. Anyway, thank you, Rosetta said simply, and cleared her throat to continue her tale. Anyway, Murda's transformation allowed wings to protrude from her back. Then she possessed the ability to fly, and faster than any known flying creature. She also gained power over wind direction and could create storms and tempests to help the plants grow in the spring and the summer months. Unfortunately, Murda underwent a second transformation, a more ghastly one, into a 3-eyed vampire monster. In this form, she was able to use an ability called damage reflection, which she could use to harm her opponent. The problem was, she could never ever be harmed, only hurt others with their own pain. Night Shroud, the guardian of the darkness, took advantage of the sadness and loneliness Murda felt. He offered her a chance to turn her pain into great power. Convinced her that the world must be dark all over so that she would have peace in mind, body, and soul. After a few moments of hesitation, Murda accepted his offer, and Night Shroud gave her a new name, a derivation of and combination of the German words for pain and pleasure, because she felt the latter when the former happened. And from that point on, she called herself Jubel! Galatea realized, remembering that the German words sound Ubel and Jubel, spelled Jubel, meant pain and pleasure in English, respectively. Rosetta nodded in her agreement. Then she continued her story. Under Night Shroud's orders, Jubel laid waste to all the realms in the nascent magical dimension. With her endless army of shadow wraiths, she almost conquered our dimension until Iris called forth the spirits of the rainbow from the soul of her very being. These spirits, when conjoined, were able to summon forth the rainbow dragon, a beast of unparalleled beauty and ferocity. But the rainbow dragon was neither good nor evil. Instead, it was a neutral creature who merely obeyed the wishes of whoever summoned it, and it didn't matter which side he or she was on. The rainbow dragon was the reason the Elders of Light, led by Iris, were able to turn the tide in the first magical dimension war. And using the power of a black onyx jewel combined with Lolita's quintessence powers, they were able to seal both Night Shroud and Jubel inside. However, the power required to seal Night Shroud and Jubel away was so great It transformed Lolita into quintessential energy, and she literally became one with the universe. To this day, Yubel and Nat Shroud have existed as one entity, with the latter controlling the former's every thought and move. So as you can see, in that story, Night Shroud is actually the mastermind behind Yubel's machinations, and Yubel seems to be unaware of it. Let's continue. This part is my absolute favorite. It tells the story of how Murda set herself free from Yubel's persona. Let's read. Yubel sat on her throne and let out a contented sigh. It will only be a matter of time, she told herself. After the cat's eyes are in my possession, I'll make sure that this planet knows who's in charge. She chuckled. When Darcy corrupts the spirits trapped inside, then I'll send them into Melania to destroy the Fellowship of Light. Nothing will stand in my way. And she erupted in full-blown maniacal laughter. Just then, her laughter turned to agonizing screaming when she felt the familiar chest pains flare up within her. Not again! She wailed before she resumed screaming. And then it happened again. She began to hear a kinder, gentler version of her voice. Yubel, do not reject my voice. Let your true feelings shine. Go away! Yubel screamed at the voice. I don't know who you are, but you are driving me insane! Get out of my head now! I cannot, her kinder voice told her. I will not. You must learn to accept the truth. You are good by nature. What are you saying? Yubel demanded. Who are you? In a way, I am you. Before the prisoner of the onyx submerged and threatened to drown my core consciousness, said the kind voice. My name is Murda, and you are merely my darker half, under the control of the spirit who dwells inside your onyx necklace. I don't want to hear anymore, Yubel said adamantly. I'm afraid I have no choice, said the kinder voice. I must chant a spell that will separate my core consciousness from your own. No! I refuse to let you! Yubel declared. I am your true self-murder, and I will not be overpowered by your weak feelings of compassion! It is too late, Murda told her. It is time for me to escape your dark shell. You will still live, but I hope to return to emerge with you. And then, as Yubel screamed while holding her chest and felt the heart of all things manifest there, Murda began her chant. The ultimate evil spawned you from me, but now I wish for myself to be free. Expel me from darkness. This form is not true. Where there is now one, let there be two! At the last word in the spell, Yubel screamed as her dark aura started alternating between a purple color and a yellow color. Then the three-eyed demon's eyes changed colors from her usual one red eye and one blue eye to sky blue eyes. Her third eye, which graced her forehead vertically, sent out a beam of golden yellow light, which shaped itself into the silhouette of a slim, slender teenage girl. No! Yubel demanded, her voice rising as she repeated the word until it became a scream. No, 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 no! But then, as Murda rematerialized, fully restored to her true corporeal form, the shock of seeing her caused everything for Yubel to go black. The last thing she was aware of before she completely lost consciousness was Murda's hands reaching out to catch her. So, as you can see, Yubel's true form is murder, and now it seems that Yubel has separated, Yubel has lost her good side, and now only knows darkness. Well, I hope you enjoyed these excerpt readings. If you like what you see, like, comment, and share this video. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Also, follow the links in the description. Follow the links in the description. They're there for you to check out my author page, and also my individual installments of the Princess Luana and Wizard of Fairy series. Don't forget to support the YouTube community. This is So Says the Leader signing off. Peace out.